Well, if you're not motivated enough, give me about 5 minutes. I'll get you fired up on a Monday morning. No, Reza already knows this. I've already got a couple of other men that are going to be filling out the online application with you guys here soon. One of them, Brian McCann, I just spoke with yesterday. So I've been so happy and so impressed with the service. I've already talked to a couple of my really close friends who are also in my age category looking for jobs, different areas than mine. Although one of them could fulfill the customer success role very easily. The other one is like a operations manager in the warehousing industry. So
Okay.
he's up at that level where he's looking for salaries that would be in line with what you guys tend to do. So yeah, that really kind of gives you how good of an experience I had. I told Razor right from the very beginning that I love the fact that you guys work on our behalf as opposed to a company's behalf. And I feel like the compensation to you is very fair with regard to what we do and so on and so forth. And for you guys, I feel like Reza was giving me all these accolades that I hit it out of the park, but you know what? That goes both ways. You guys hit it out of the park too, right? Because we signed a 6-month contract with you. You're expecting to send out 1,000 applications, and it's going to be this months-long process. And here I just went ahead and took that first job that came my way. I mean, that worked out great, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, my experience with you guys has been fantastic. I have no complaints. And I mean, Ray's already knows this. I'm very positive about the experience, and Jamal was great. Kept me really up to date on all the applications that were going out, following up with me on interviews and assessments that they wanted me to do, and so on and so forth. And just as luck would have it, man, the way things worked out, the job that came my way first was the one that I wanted. So we're good to go. One of the advantages that really drew me to you guys was number one, which I already mentioned, that you guys work for me and as opposed to working for the company. But secondly, it was the ability for me as a person who's working during the day, part-time, doing what I'm doing right now, but trying to get those applications out. And one of the things that happens mentally when you're trying to seek out a job is that your brain parses jobs you want versus jobs you think you don't want. And it's constantly qualifying, right? So you may spend half of your time deciding on a company that you even want to send your resume into. Whereas Reza and Marcy explained, this is a numbers game, right? If you want to be a customer success person, give us that title. Let us unleash ourselves on it, because the volume that we can attack is so much greater than what you can. Not to mention, by the time that I sometimes was seeing an opportunity, there were already 200 plus applicants that had been in there. So it's this other combination, which Ray's also mentioned, of getting in there as soon as possible, right? Getting in that front line to where you have a much greater chance of being seen. I think that folks don't realize what a job it is to go out and get a job. If you're diligent and you're really trying to pursue it, it is a job every day. You have to be consistent. You have to be mindful of your time, looking at these opportunities, so on and so forth. And I just realized how much time it was taking me. And I'm sorry that it took me too long to find you guys, because I had seen CandidateSide's advertisements on both Facebook and maybe Instagram. And so when I saw those, I was like, who are these guys? And I snapshotted it on my phone. I actually took a picture of it.
Oh wow.
And I was like, man, I should check this out sometime. And 2 months later, how you don't go back to your phone, you don't go back and check that thing right away. It got behind me, and I didn't see it in my role there. And it took me another couple months, because I think I latched onto you guys in September. And when I reached out, it was because I had come to this realization that I needed some help. I was like, man, I can do this, but I feel like I am just, walking through mud with this process. And Marcy reached out to me after I did the application online and visited with she and Reza, and I knew immediately that you guys were going to be good for me, because you have so much more manpower and so much more ability to attack volume with speed that I just didn't have it. Huge. That's why I've already talked to you about my friends, or with my friends, because I think you guys are a massive value. I would have done that immediately because I've researched that market. I know what kind of costs you can get involved with. I know that there are a lot of people that think that resume gets them their job, right? So in that capacity, yeah, I had no problem with that, because my resume had not been professionally done. I felt like it was solid, but it was not near the style that you guys felt it needed to be. And, let's be honest, that thing fired off and started getting interviews. So I can't argue with the results. That's the other thing is from a testimonial standpoint, to share with people that, hey, they redid my resume. And not only did I get interviews, but I took a job from the first interview I got. It was from a company that matched up with me almost ideally to what I was looking for.
This anywhere else. So I'm just kind of curious, gauging your trust level on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you say your trust level was when you first saw the ad?
When I first saw the ad, I had an open heart and open mind. So I would say it was probably around a 5 or a 6, right there, middle of the road. I did not in any way, shape, or form think it was a scam. I didn't in any way, shape, or form felt like it was something that was going to try to take advantage of me. Yeah. I was more concerned that the only real concern was that I was going to put my name into a system that was going to start just absolutely eviscerating me with a flood of emails and texts in my box. That was the only real concern I had, because with no obligation to you right off the bat, my trust factor was pretty decent. Now, what I will tell you is, after I spent I was in my first conversation with Marcy and Reza, I would say it was a 10. I felt very comfortable with both of them. I felt like they were very on the level, shot me straight. They found out real quick that I'm a take charge guy. I wanted to share every bit of information that I felt like they needed to know, and so that they could make a good decision on me as a candidate. So part of it also comes in with people's confidence in themselves, right? If you've been duped by a bunch of scams on the internet, or you've gone to some lesser than credible places and put your name in and gotten stuff, you may be less trusting of things like that. But I looked at it at face value and said, you know what, if this is this is a great opportunity, right? They're on my side, working with people my age. What more could I ask for? So for me, I felt like I was fairly trusting. And then when Marcy contacted me and the follow-up was legit and they scheduled, I said, okay, everything just built right into that. And then I had that first interview and I thought, man, I can't wait to cut these guys loose.
What about,